Welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to a special Sunday edition bonus show for, I haven't decided if this is for patrons only or if it's for everyone because, I don't know, I think it's important and it may be important, so we'll see by the end of the show how I feel, but I had to hit record to the patrons. I didn't get to you on Friday, so I definitely wanted to do this episode anyways. But I found some motivation that inspired me to have to cut on this microphone and start talking. I just came from a barbershop and with my son, and we were there for about an hour. So I listened for an hour to the greatest conspiracy theories, everything from JFK to 9/11 to Las Vegas. And it dawned on me not only why not Jim Jones, but Alex Jones, hell, Freudian slip, no, why Alex Jones is so successful. Not only that, but it dawned on me why it's so important that, man, we start spreading I don't really have any other language for this except for religious jargon. We have to start spreading the gospel of reasonable thinking, rational thinking, throw in some progressivism in there. That's fine. But most of all, we have got to be the first to reach people. It's almost like we're in a race against time. We're in a race against time to see if we can help people find quote unquote enlightenment before they find conspiracy theories. And this is why I say this. Well, let me start here. I am not suggesting that we accept anything that is fed to us from the media or from the government. That's definitely not what I'm suggesting. But what I am suggesting is that there is a level of thinking that is rewarding in terms of I don't know what it fires, I don't know what it does to you chemically. I don't know what triggers, and it gives you a sensation of satisfaction as though you are learning something and that you're finding out the deep dark mysteries that nobody wants you to know. There's something that triggers in the human body that makes you feel satisfied and accomplished, and it really doesn't matter where that comes from, as long as it's a place that you're willing to accept it from, right? It's the same thing with religion. People get religion, and it's the greatest revelation people want revelation. People need revelation. And they get religion, and they're like, wow, this is a revelation. It blows their mind. People get conspiracy theories. It's a revelation. It blows their mind. People get, I don't know, Lord of the Rings for some people, or Star Wars for some people, and it's like it opens up a world for them that becomes their worldview through which they interpret everything else. Same thing happens with us, you and I. So it happens. For me, luckily for me, is I've actually enjoyed all of them. I've had religion. I still have some religion. I've had movies and worlds and fandoms that have blown my mind and given me a whole new way of thinking. And it's cool. And I move on to the next thing. I'm a traveler in that sense. I'm a traveler in the sense that I never get stuck in one worldview or after one revelation, right? When I found, religion was maybe my second revelation. I had my own revelations, my own crazy thoughts when I was a kid, with regard to how the world works. And I think everybody probably does. But then I got religion and got deep into it. And then I apexed there in terms of me. From me, I'm not saying there is an apex, and I'm not saying that you should find an apex. It might be perfect for you in the long run. But for me, it was like I just traveled from one place to the other, and I ran into some conspiracy theories, and I'm like, they were fun. They were fun, but they were not a place that I wanted to stay. And what I'm saying through all this is that it's almost like when people find this revelatory experience, they stay there, and that becomes the framework, and they build towers, they build monuments in their brain around the moment that they got a revelation, and they don't move from there. And because I believe that that's human nature, And actually, as I think about it, this is something that I heard a preacher say a long time ago, T.D. Jakes. He said this same exact thing, that people build these monuments around some revelation and they don't realize that you're not supposed to stop there. You're supposed to keep moving. You're supposed to keep moving. I mean, because there's never going to be, and I'm going, of course, you guys, I know I always tell you to hang on, but I'm sure by now you understand that I take the long way around to make the point, and I'm making the long way around to say that there are so many different types of revelations that we can get in our lifetime. Some are more valuable than others. Some happen to be crap. Some we thought were great, and then we realized later that it was really just garbage. But we have these opportunities for different type of revelations, and what happens is we get stuck there, and we don't want to move any further. Conspiracy theories is that type of existence. It is a religion. It is a way to view the entire world, that the government is ultimately controlled by a small group of rich men called the Illuminati, and that everything that happens can be interpreted through that lens. And there's a reason why this is no longer cute and never has been cute, or no longer something that we could sit idly by and say nothing about. And before I go to that part, let me finish the first part, which is, if we don't get to people first, and it's almost too late for a lot of people. We have to get to young people. We have to get to people who are just now finding out about the world and realizing that the world is more than what their teachers are teaching them, right? If we don't get to them first, the Alex Joneses of the world will. And when Alex Joneses of the world get to them first, those are the places where they build lifelong monuments in their emotional and their mental existence. This is the place where they remain forever. They remain in this place forever, and they never move. They never move. It's just like a person. Once they find religion, they find that religion and they limit everything that they know about the world to that religion, and they never move to any other understanding or any other potential understanding of the world. I'm not even talking about the metaphysical afterlife world. I'm talking about they use that framework of religion to understand the material world that we live in right now. So they use that framework to understand politics, and that's why it matters, and it's no longer funny. It was never funny, but it's almost a direct enemy now. Not religion right now. Today's target is conspiracy theories, because what it does, it's one thing to always question, right? It's one thing to never trust and never trust what the government is telling you. It's another thing to never, it's one thing rather to never trust what the media is telling you. I, above all people, would tell you first and foremost to be a skeptic of everything, right? But it's another thing when you allow that framework to push you into a place where you do not participate in a healthy fashion or at all participate in changing the world for the better. And I'm sorry, it might be an episode full of cliches, but what I found often than not is that people who have conspiracy theories, and I say it specifically like that because they're just like people who have religion. People who have religion and people who have conspiracy theories are very similar in the sense that it limits their willingness to participate in making change, because they don't think it's meaningful to try. They don't think it, and so all they do, and this is so, I mean, I just clicked, it just clicked today, and I think perhaps maybe I've known it, but never really expressed to you all why it bothers me so much when I run into conspiracy theorists. It's not because they question the narrative of the status quo, or they question the narrative of the government, it's because they do nothing with it. It's because they never challenge the system. All they do is sit back and enjoy the synapses that are firing as a result of the revelation that they're getting through this conspiracy theory. In other words, there is a sensation, what I'm espousing right now It's probably pseudoscience, right? So I'm not saying don't take this as me trying to spit off science to you. What I'm saying is that emotionally, which whatever, some brain neuroscientists could probably come and diagnose this or explain this precisely. But I just know from my experience and from the look I see on other people's faces, when something clicks in their head, there's a sensation that goes through your body that you want to replicate. You always want to have that next aha moment. You always want to go back to that spot where you learned something that blew you away. And so for people who have conspiracy theory, just like people who have religion, they stay at that spot looking for that next new sensation, and it becomes more ridiculous it has to become, it's like opioids. You have to get a higher dose every time. And so now it's no longer good enough to just think that there was a second shooter, right? It's necessary for you to believe in transdimensional beings. It has to become more and more ridiculous each time. That's because people are sitting in a spot where they first found a revelation and they first found an epiphany and they want to have that feeling again. That's cool, but ultimately you're sitting in one spot doing nothing. The most non-active people in the world have to be conspiracy theorists who think they have the entire government figured out, but they don't do a damn thing to try to fix it. So what use are they to the society that they see all of the writing on the walls, right? What use are they to the society? They are not useful whatsoever. And those that, let's take the conspiracy theory left, for example. Those who try to engage in politics, they become so utterly ridiculous in their engagement that they become electorally neutered, inept, incompetent, incapable. They can't do anything electorally. And I'm sorry. One of the reasons I'm not active in religion right now is because I wanted to get shit done. There are issues that have to be addressed that cannot be addressed if all you do is sit in church on Sunday and just shout and cry and love God and praise Jesus and all those things that I still quite frankly enjoy. But there's issues that we cannot address if that is the apex of our participation in this society. And it's the same thing for people who are conspiracy theorists. The apex of their participation in this society is finding out the next move of the Illuminati. They're completely and utterly useless to society except for their musings, their deep thought that in some regards I should mock and laugh at, but I understand. So I'm not going to laugh and mock right now. I'll say that for Monday. I mean, what good? We need people in the streets. We need people in the local meetings. We need people in the local Democratic Party meeting, in the local Republican Party meeting, in the local Green Party meeting. We need people in every. I don't care what your political persuasion is. We need you in the streets, in the meetings. If you really believe that the Illuminati is running the world, then damn it, why aren't you in there trying to change it? I don't know, man, because it's because they've got it all locked up, man. It's no point. We might as well just sit here and do nothing. They're not going to actually say that, but in reality, that's what they do. And so they become the cogs in the machine. They literally become the sheeple, the people. And I hope that everyone knows what sheeple means. Sheeple is a play on words. Sheep people, sheep like sheep to the slaughter who don't see what's going on. People, get it, sheeple. So they literally become sheeple while calling everyone else sheeple. They draw a picture. They have memes of sheeple going to the slaughter, lambs to the slaughter, going into a building that says Democrat and Republican. And on the other side, it's the same butcher that's killing everybody, right? So they're essentially saying if you're Democrat or Republican and you're participating at all, you are a sheeple going to a lamb to the slaughter. But I'm sorry, motherfucker, but you're in this boat with us too. Did you not notice that you are affected by the same policies that these people in power are making? You are not, if you honestly believe that your non-participation is a it's a statement of wokeness, you have to be the dumbest person I've seen in my goddamn life. And so that is the enemy. The enemy of progress is not just conservatism, but it is conspiracy theory styled thinking. People who get revelations, think they know something, and they stay there. And when I say they stay there, I mean they literally do not move from that place ever again. Meanwhile, if there is an Illuminati, if there is a great grand conspiracy, they're making moves that affect your life every single minute of the day. And you think you're woke by being a non-participant? Yeah, it just dawned on me. This episode was going public. Patrons, I'll probably have to do something else. This was going to be patrons only, but I got to share this with everybody. That's got to be the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life. You who believe that the world is controlled by a small group of men who are controlling every aspect of our lives and have enough ability to demolish the World Trade Center and have control over over all the media outlets, so nobody will ever talk about anything else but hijackers. You who believe that they are so powerful that now they have us talking about a shooter on the 32nd floor, but when in reality there was a shooter on the 12th floor. You who believe that the people controlling society is that powerful, don't do anything about it. Think about that for the second. If you have this grand revelation and you see what's going on around us and the rest of us are blind, then what the fuck are you doing about it? So tell me, who are the real sheeple? Is it the people? Is it us that are trying to make changes at a moderate level, at a modicum of change, rather? We're trying to make a modicum of a change. We're trying to at least make sure that these conspiracy theorists who don't do nothing can go to a goddamn hospital and get some health care without going bankrupt. We're trying to get Medicare for all. Are we the sheeple, or the sheeple who are sitting around looking at every one of us who are participants in this system, trying to change the system? They're looking at us and calling us lambs to the slaughter because we're participating, yet these conspiracies that have wrapped their minds and captivated their minds, and not just conspiracies, these religious people. As religious as I am, I have to call them, as much as I love Jesus, I have to call out all of my people who are stuck in church right now, and the apex of their participation in this society is going to be how long they can shout, how long they could do praise music. And did people fall out? And did we have a high holy time? That's the apex of their participation. And they see all these things going on in the world. I'm sorry, who are the real sheeple? To me, the people who are lambs to the slaughter are those who think they have the infinite knowledge of the universe and don't even pick up a pen to try to change a single thing around them. All they do is sit around and compare notes about who shot JFK, who was the real shooter in Las Vegas, are there chemtrails. This is beyond mocking. I'm not mocking you guys. I'm calling you out and saying you're not about shit. You're really not about anything. You just sit around and you have one big circle jerk of pseudo intellectualism, and you get the endorphins firing off in your body because you got a new, and you're like, oh man, yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, you don't do nothing about it. Meanwhile, you don't do anything to stop the Illuminati. Meanwhile, you don't do anything to stop the chemtrail or the lizard people. Meanwhile, what are you doing, Alex Jones, to stop the transdimensional beings? It is such a profitable. All right, now let me flip. Let me stop being a dick and say where I'm falling short and where people who are like me fall short. It's because we don't confront it head on. We don't. I'd be lying if I told you that I got into the confrontation at the barbershop over the conspiracies that they were espousing. I didn't. You know why? Because I'm like, you know what? This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And not just that, but at a point, it's too far gone. And that's why I say we have to get there first. We have to get to people before Alex Jones gets to them. We have to get to people before religion stops them, right? Religion, there used to be a usefulness for religion in terms of societal change. But now the gospel of prosperity has built it where they catch you and they freeze you, and you don't do anything for systemic or societal change. Religion to me is only as good as it is able to change the conditions of the people around it right here in this lifetime. I'm sorry, I can't worry about the afterlife. You guys, if you want to know how to get to heaven, it's to accept Jesus and the pardoning of your sins, and you can get to heaven. Great. Now we have to live here. We have to live here on earth. We have to change the society around us. We can't always go to church every single Sunday and all we do is just shout and dance and praise God. I mean, God, can you praise him? Can you praise him a little bit every single day? Right. And that way you will fill your quota of praising God. And then for the rest of the day, could you join us as we fight back against systemic oppression, as we fight back against the effects of capitalism, pilfering and plundering our communities? Can we fight back against the effects of healthcare, people dying because they don't have adequate access, and people going bankrupt trying to utilize the access? Can you just moderate how much you pour into church and come with us for the rest of the day? But I'm not telling you not to believe. I'm not telling you none of that. What I'm saying is there's work to be done. And it finally dawned on me why conspiracy theories I'm so allergic to them. It's because it gives you the same sensation as religion. It's a wonderful sensation of intellectualism from a hidden secret source of knowledge that other people cannot see. I get it. But at the same time, hey, you ain't doing nothing to change the world around you. Shout out to all the pastors out there that I know who are doing good works in their communities. But your congregants who are I'm just saying, you guys know the problem better than I have time to dictate on this podcast. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not just out here tripping today. I'm just saying this is perhaps, it's 11:59. Perhaps this is my Sunday morning sermon. My Sunday morning sermon is get up and do something. If you really believe all this stuff that you talk about, and all this stuff, if you really believe that we are underneath so much control from the government that they are able to keep the truth about two towers crashing in New York, if you really believe that, then I have to ask you, what in the entire hell are you doing to change it? Because if you're not doing anything to change it, then who, my friend, are the real sheeple? I'll holler at you guys tomorrow.